What do you do when everything falls apart? When the pressure is crushing, when the people you trusted walk away, and your own mind turns against you? This isn't the time to hide. This is the moment to rise. Because life doesn't test the weak, it forges the strong. In this video, we're not chasing comfort. We're training for clarity, strength, and resilience. These are 8 battle-tested Stoic practices to help you stop crumbling under pressure and start becoming unbreakable. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you won't just survive the storm. You'll realize you are the storm. 1. Don't cope. Dominate your darkness. Most of us are taught to cope with stress. We're handed quick fixes, deep breaths, distractions, Netflix, maybe a glass of wine, and told that it's okay to feel this way. But here's the harsh truth. Coping is survival. Domination is transformation. Seneca, a Stoic who lived through exile, political betrayal, and the looming threat of death, didn't believe in just getting by. He believed in building strength from the struggle. To him, pain wasn't an obstacle. It was the gym. It was where the mind got trained, calloused, and unshakable. And I'll be honest with you, there was a time I thought I was tough because I endured. I gritted my teeth through stress. I wore my exhaustion like a badge of honor, but all I was doing was surviving. I wasn't learning, I wasn't evolving, I was tolerating pain, not transforming through it. Real change began the day I stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and started asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That's the Stoic shift. From victimhood to power, from reaction to reflection. You don't beat darkness by running from it. You beat it by turning toward it and saying, "I see you, now sharpen me." Here's how to start. The next time anxiety tightens your chest, the next time frustration hits like a wave, pause. Breathe in deeply 3 times. Not to numb yourself, but to center your awareness. Then ask yourself, what lesson is hiding inside this discomfort? Maybe it's telling you that you've been avoiding a truth for too long. Maybe it's time to set boundaries. Maybe it's revealing a strength you never knew you had. Whatever the pain, don't just manage it, mine it, learn from it, let it forge you. Because the darkness is not your enemy, it's your forge. The storm isn't there to break you, it's there to show you what you're made of. And when you stop coping and start commanding the storm, that's when you begin to become unbreakable. 2. Control the first thought. Rewrite the code. Let's be honest, the first thought that pops into your head when life hits hard, it's rarely helpful. I'm not good enough. I'm gonna fail. Of course this happened to me. I deserve it. Sound familiar? But here's the kicker, that voice isn't you. It's a leftover survival script from a primitive brain built to avoid danger, not to pursue greatness. That reflexive negativity isn't wisdom. It's ancient programming designed to keep you alive, not to help you thrive. Epictetus, the Stoic master of mental toughness, said it best. You may not control events, but you can control how you respond to them. And your first response, the very first thought, is where your battle for inner power begins. Most people don't realize that the voice in their head is just a voice, not the truth. But the moment you become aware of it, boom, you have power. You move from being a prisoner of your thoughts to becoming the editor of them. That's the Stoic advantage. Instead of reacting like a puppet to every trigger, you pause, you observe, and then you choose. Here's how to train it. Next time stress hits, your boss criticizes you, your partner says something harsh, you mess up on a big opportunity, stop, take a breath. Don't let your first thought run wild. Catch it. Then say, there's the old voice again. And now, rewrite it. Instead of, I always screw this up, say, I'm learning, I'm adjusting, this is part of growth. Instead of, this shouldn't be happening, say, it's happening. Now how do I show up stronger? You're not lying to yourself, you're choosing a thought that empowers rather than weakens you. This practice is like upgrading the software of your mind, and it starts with just one thing, awareness. Because the first thought isn't destiny, it's just an old echo. You get to choose what comes next. And that choice, moment by moment, is where resilience is born. 3. Use isolation as a weapon, not a prison. We live in a world that's always connected, always online, always loud. The moment we feel overwhelmed, our instinct is to reach out, scroll social media, call someone, vent to a friend. And yes, human connection is vital, but dependency, that's dangerous. Because sometimes the strength you're looking for isn't in someone else's voice, it's in your silence. Seneca once wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." He discovered this not in the crowd, not in applause, but in solitude. While most feared being alone, he welcomed it. Why? Because isolation strips away the noise. It reveals the raw, unfiltered version of who you really are. And that's where real power begins. Most people see isolation as punishment, a mental prison. But here's the shift. Isolation you choose is not weakness, it's a weapon. Think of the athlete training alone before the world ever sees their greatness. Think of the writer staring at a blank page when no one's watching. Think of the entrepreneur building in silence while everyone else parties. Greatness is forged in those quiet hours no one claps for. So how do you weaponize solitude? Start small, 1 hour a day. No phone, no music, no distractions, just you and your thoughts. Yes, at first, it'll be uncomfortable. You'll want to run. Your brain will beg for dopamine hits. But if you sit with the silence long enough, something magical happens. You begin to hear yourself. Your intuition, your truth, your next move. Use that space to audit your life. What's draining you? What's lighting you up? What truths are you avoiding? Because the strongest people aren't those who never feel alone. They're the ones who've turned solitude into a sanctuary, a forge for their next evolution. When you stop fearing your own company, you stop needing the world's approval. So, don't run from isolation. Choose it, use it, let it sharpen you. And when you return from that silence, the world will feel different, not because it changed, but because you did. 4. Train under pressure, never wait for calm. Most people wait for the perfect moment. They say, "I'll focus when things settle down. I'll build discipline once I have more time. I'll start when I'm ready." Here's the truth. That moment never comes. And waiting for calm is the biggest lie your comfort zone will ever sell you. Life doesn't wait. Storms don't schedule around your goals. Pressure shows up unannounced on a Tuesday morning at 2 a.m. or halfway through your biggest project. So what do the Stoics teach us? Train right there, in the chaos, in the fire. Epictetus, born a slave, didn't wait for freedom to start thinking like a free man. He practiced self-control in chains. He trained his mind in adversity so that when external chains fell away, he was already unbreakable. Growth doesn't happen in ease. Muscles don't grow in rest. Character doesn't sharpen in silence. You grow under resistance. Next time life hits you with pressure, don't ask, "How do I escape this?" Ask, "How do I train in this?" Here's what that looks like. When you're overwhelmed at work, to practice calm. When money gets tight, to practice gratitude. When criticism stings, to practice detachment. When exhaustion creeps in, to practice discipline. Because if you only show up when it's easy, you'll never be ready when it's hard. Real winners, the resilient, the stoic, the dangerous, don't wait for pressure to pass. They lean into it. They build inside it. Imagine what happens if you start viewing every tough moment as a gym session for your soul. Traffic becomes patience training. Conflict becomes a test of self-mastery. Loss becomes a lesson in clarity. Every trial becomes a tool. So here's your rule from now on. Never waste a crisis. Never waste pressure. Because pressure isn't your punishment, it's your preparation. It's not proof that you're failing, it's proof that you're leveling up. Don't wait for calm after the storm. Become the storm. And let the world feel what it's like to meet someone who doesn't fold under pressure, but rises because of it. 5. Make pain pay rent, turn hurt into power. Pain visits all of us. Uninvited, unwanted, unapologetic. It shows up in heartbreak, betrayal, failure, loss. And it takes up space in our minds, our hearts, our bodies. But here's what most people never realize. Pain is a tenant. And if it's going to stay, it damn well better start paying rent. Marcus Aurelius didn't just endure hardship, he transformed through it. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the obstacle isn't the end of your path. It is the path. But for most people, pain becomes a prison. They replay it, resent it, wear it like a scar that never closes. They let pain define them instead of refine them. That's not stoicism, that's surrender. You're not here to carry your pain. You're here to convert it. Turn your wounds into wisdom. Turn your suffering into service. Turn your lowest moments into stepping stones. Here's the shift. Write down the most painful thing you've ever experienced. Then ask yourself 2 questions. 1. What did this teach me that nothing else could? 2. Who can I help because I survived this? That's when the pain starts paying rent. Because pain only has power over you when it stays buried. But once you extract its lesson, it becomes a tool. And once you share that lesson, it becomes a gift. Your heartbreak could teach someone how to protect their worth. Your loss could show someone what truly matters. Your failure could give someone permission to try again. This is not about glorifying pain. It's about using it intentionally, courageously, purposefully. Let your pain stretch you, not shatter you. Let it strengthen your voice, not silence it. Let it build a version of you who knows how to walk through fire without burning out. Because you are not what hurt you. You are what you build from it. Don't let pain stay passive. Put it to work. And let it pay you back in power, in clarity, in purpose. 6. Operate in silence, let discipline speak for you. In today's world, everyone wants to be seen. We post our goals. We share our struggles. We announce every little step like we're narrating a documentary of our lives. But here's the hard truth. The loudest people are rarely the ones who finish. And the strongest moves, they're made in silence. Epictetus said, "Be silent for the most part, or if you speak, say only what is necessary and in few words." Why? Because real growth doesn't need an audience. Progress doesn't crave applause. And transformation, true transformation, happens in the quiet, when no one's watching. Modern psychology backs it up. It's called the social reality effect. When you talk too much about your goals, your brain gets a dopamine hit as if you've already achieved them. The result? You lose momentum before you've even started. Talking becomes a substitute for doing. You become addicted to validation instead of results. But the Stoic way is different. You wake up early not to post a sunrise selfie, but to grind. You work on your craft not to brag, but to build. You choose the hard path, not for praise, but because you know who you're becoming. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. When you keep your goals private, you protect them from doubt, distraction, and outside noise. You move in shadows until your results shine like the Sunday. Here's your practice. Stop announcing. Start executing. No more telling the world what you're going to do. Let your discipline do the talking. You don't need to tell people you're leveling up. Let them feel it in how you carry yourself. Let them see it in your results. And when the time comes to speak, your words will carry weight. Because they'll be backed by action, not empty promise. So work, grind, build. In silence. Let your transformation speak for itself. Let your presence whisper what your mouth no longer needs to say. I don't have to prove myself, because my life already does. That's not ego. That's power. That's Stoicism. 7. Evolve beyond who you were. There comes a moment in every journey where growth demands not just improvement, but reinvention. It's not enough to do a little better, to try a little harder. There are times when the only way forward is to leave behind who you used to be completely. Not because that version of you was a failure, but because they were never meant to carry the weight of your future. Seneca once wrote, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." We postpone change. We wait for clarity. We act like we have forever. But live like growth can wait until tomorrow. Yet the truth is brutally simple. Every day you stay loyal to your old self, you betray the person you could become. The version of you that made excuses instead of progress, chose comfort over discipline, sought validation instead of purpose. That version must go. You don't need to hate who you were. You need to outgrow them. Become so focused, so intentional, so relentless in your evolution, that your old habits feel foreign. When your standards rise, your old ways won't survive. The distractions won't tempt you. The toxic cycles won't pull you back. The people who once fit your past will no longer recognize your pace. The old you wanted change. The new you chooses it daily. The old you hoped. The new you acts. You don't explain your growth. You don't defend your discipline. You live it quietly, consistently, unapologetically. Here's the transformation. The moment you decide to stop negotiating with the part of you that's been holding you back, that's the moment your real life begins. Let others be confused by your evolution. Let your old self miss the comfort zone you've burned behind you. You're not here to stay the same. You're here to become dangerous to fear, to mediocrity, to every limit you once accepted as fact. So rise. Not to prove anyone wrong, but to finally prove yourself right. 8. Anchor to one unbreakable why. Let purpose carry you. At some point, the motivation fades. The hype dies down. The road gets quiet. And in that silence, a question echoes louder than ever. Why are you doing this? Not the surface answer. Not the Instagram caption. But the real reason. The one that lives deep beneath the noise. Because if your why is weak, so are your legs when life starts pushing back. But if your why is unbreakable, there's not a storm in this world that can take you down. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the horrors of the Holocaust, wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." He didn't write that from a place of comfort. He wrote it after watching people survive unimaginable suffering, not because they were the strongest, but because they had something to live for. That's the power of purpose. It outlasts pain. It outshines doubt. And it outperforms motivation every single time. Most people set goals. That's fine. But goals without a why are just wishes with deadlines. When life gets hard, and it will, goals crack. But a why holds the line. So ask yourself, what would I regret not becoming if I only had 1 year left? Who am I fighting for beyond just myself? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind, not in titles, but in impact? Your why might be your children watching everything you do, learning not just from your words, but your example. It might be your parents who sacrificed so you could dream bigger. It might be your past self, the one who prayed for the strength you now carry. Or maybe, just maybe, it's for everyone who ever said, you couldn't. Whatever your why is, make it personal, make it emotional, make it undeniable. Write it down, read it every morning, let it be your compass in chaos. Because when you're tired, your why gives you fuel. When you're tempted to quit, it reminds you why quitting is betrayal. When you're afraid, it whispers, keep going, it matters. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a reason so strong, giving up no longer feels like an option. Let your why be the fire behind every step. Let it be the reason you rise again and again until the world sees what purpose really looks like. Conclusion. You don't need an easier life. You need a stronger mind. Don't wait for the world to calm down. Don't wait for motivation to arrive. Your transformation begins now, in the middle of the storm you're facing. Choose just one of the 8 Stoic practices. Start today. And when you feel yourself slipping, repeat this. I am unbreakable. I am the product of every storm I refuse to surrender to. If this message resonated with you, like the video, share your biggest takeaway in the comments, and subscribe. Your journey to mental strength has only just begun.